Because PHP is an interpreted language, it is most often intermixed with HTML. There are a couple of different ways to do this. The first is to embed PHP within HTML, and the second is to embed HTML within PHP code. There's been a great deal of debate as to which is better, which is faster, or cleaner. When it comes down to it, it is a choice of convenience and style for yourself. Like PHP standards, there is no proper way that has been determined for this issue. I have used both methods depending on the end application. If I have a single web page that has few dynamic elements within it, then I will embed PHP within the HTML. However, if I have a large site or complex script, I will embed the HTML within my PHP script. I have also done a mix, creating a PHP script that outputs some HTML, and then embedding that within a page of HTML. It is up to you to decide what best suits your situation. In this movie, I will show you how to embed PHP within an HTML page. But first, you should know the different ways that you can tell the web server that it is about to encounter text that should be treated as PHP code. You have to do this no matter whether you are embedding HTML in PHP or the other way, as we are going to see. When we are embedding PHP or letting the web server know that a block of PHP is about to be opened, we use what are referred to as PHP tags. These are opening and closing tags, similar to HTML, so that when the web server encounters them, it knows that the page must be parsed through the PHP interpreter. And they also let the PHP interpreter know where to start parsing the PHP in the document. There are 4 different styles of tags. The first style is the PHP opening and closing tags. They are started with a left angle bracket, followed by a question mark, and the word PHP. The block of code is closed with a question mark followed by a right angle bracket. This is the most popular method of opening a code block in PHP. The second style is HTML style, similar to a JavaScript tag. You open an HTML style script tag, define the language as PHP, and then use a closing script tag when you are done. I personally have never used this or have ever seen it used, but it is available to you. The third style is the one I use all the time, and that is the short tag style. Like the first style, you start with the left angle bracket, followed by a question mark. There is no PHP following this question mark, however. You then close it the same, with a question mark and a right angle bracket. The final style is an ASP style tag. Those of you familiar with ASP will recognize this as the same tag used to define a block of ASP. It starts with a left angle bracket and is followed with a percent sign. It is then closed with a percent sign and right angle bracket. Like the script tag, I've never seen this used. The full PHP tags are always available, whereas the short and ASP tags may not be available to you depending on your PHP configuration. I will show you how to check your PHP configuration for settings at the end of this chapter. Now that we know how to define a block of PHP within the opening and closing tags, I can show you how PHP can be embedded into an HTML document. Examine this HTML document here. You can see that it looks like any regular HTML document to begin with. A document type declaration, HTML head and title tags, and a body tag. However, after the body tag, we have the PHP opening tag. This is followed by a print statement. The print tag simply prints out the text that you have after it. In this case, we want to print out the words, "This is a bit of text in a document." Notice at the end of the print statement, we have a semicolon. This is another very important feature of PHP. To understand the importance of the semicolon, make sure you review the movie of this chapter about the semicolon. We then close this block of PHP with the closing PHP tag. When a web server retrieves this document, it will scan through it in preparation to send it to your web browser. When it encounters the opening PHP tag, it passes all the code between the opening and closing tags to the PHP interpreter, which then parses the code and sends the results back to the web server, which then passes those results back to your web browser. In this case, the PHP interpreter will simply pass back the words, "This is a bit of text in a document." That's what ends up in your web browser. As I mentioned, this method of embedding PHP within an HTML document works when we have a small bit of PHP code that we want to add to a page, as in this example. Next, we will examine how HTML is embedded in a PHP document and how to intermix the two.